Ever since the Little Garden arc, giants have often been represented by the immense military power they'd bring to any battle, with their strength causing both fear and envy from various groups around the world. It's the reason for Gecko Moria's plans of reviving Ors, Caesar Clown's gigantification project, Big Mom trying to arrange a marriage between her daughter Lola and Prince Loki, and the current plot of the Elbaf arc, where we see Emu and the God's Knights beginning to recruit the giant army the world government always wanted. But Emu says something interesting during this battle, that if it wasn't for King Harald's failure, the giants' military power would have already been in their hands. Which raises the question, if King Harald wanted Elbaf to join the rest of the world, why didn't he go through with the world government's deal? There might have been two reasons for this. First is that Harald wasn't the kind of ruler who'd give up his people to be the Celestials' military force. And the second is because Harald may have noticed something, that giants have been slowly becoming both more human and peaceful over the generations, negating their purpose for the world government to recruit them. But back to the first reason, why would have King Harald not been the type of ruler to take the world government's deal? Well, we've seen a similar story with another monarch of a non-human race trying to bring their people closer to the world with Queen Otohime of the Ryukyu Kingdom. Both Harald and Otohime would reject the ideas that separated their people from humanity and begin negotiations with the world government. Both made contact with the celestial dragons and then were betrayed by members of their own army, and both would leave a powerful child behind, Loki and Shirahoshi, children who'd go on to define their country's role in the future and be noticed by the Celestials for it. All this to show how similar these two are, and we know from Otohime's story that she always put the people of Fishman Island above all, dying in an attempt to protect their future. Harald could have been the same. Once he realized the God's Knights were planning to turn Elbaf's giants into demonic versions of themselves, he'd sacrifice himself to stop the process, allowing his son to end his life and cause the failure Emu spoke of. But there may have been a deeper reason for King Harald's decision. One clue is the removal of his horns, the symbol of his ancient giant bloodline, done as a rejection of the giants' warmongering past, but also for another reason, because he realized the future of the giants was to peacefully join humanity. Allow me to explain. We essentially have four types of giants: the ancient giants, the giants with ancient blood, the regular giants, and mixed races like buccaneers, also Wotans, but we don't have much info on them. But with these four variations of giants and those with giant's blood going from ancient to buccaneer, we see a pattern starting with the larger and destructive to the smaller and peaceful. First is the ancient giants like Ors and Little Ors Jr., defined by their massive size, horns, power, and a lacking of intellect, setting them apart from ordinary giants. We know with Ors that he was a legendary warrior who conquered nations, and Moria would utilize his body for its destructive capabilities. But over the generations, we get to his descendant, Little Ors Jr. We see the same size and power, but with a personality of friendship and self-sacrifice instead, where Little Ors Jr. would charge into Marineford to save Ace, costing his life. His death would also be the end of the ancient giant tribe, leaving only relatives, the giants that have ancient blood, including King Harald and Prince Loki. These giants are the bridge between the ancients and the regular, sharing the ancient's size and power along with the regular's intellect and society. And we see the personal differences between them, with Prince Loki leaning towards the ancient side, shown by his embrace of Elbaf's warrior culture and using his destructive power even against his homeland, along with his rejection of humans and disregard for his brother. In contrast to his father, King Harald, who embraced the more peaceful side, shown again by the removal of his horns, love for both his sons, and reforms to bring Elbaf closer to the world. But the giants with ancient blood are rare, which gets us to the next type of regular giants like Dori, Bragi, and Hyrudin, smaller than those of the ancients, yet can still descend from them. These giants vary from having a warrior culture to a more organized and peaceful one, being not too different from humans in that regard. Many regular giants already work within human-led organizations like the Navy, showing their cooperation with humanity, leading to the last type beyond regular giants, buccaneers, a mixed race that have giant's blood within them, with Kuma being the last survivor coming from a buccaneer father and human mother. Some of the defining traits buccaneers have is their pacifism and self-sacrifice. We've seen this in Kuma's story of him dedicating his life for the sake of others, especially his daughter Bonnie. Another example may be Whitebeard. It's been theorized he's also a buccaneer and fits the personality as well, being the only emperor to never pursue the One Piece, opting to build a family instead. All this suggesting that with each variation of giants, they physically and mentally become closer to humans and living a peaceful way of life. If King Harald may have caught on, then this would have been the main reason for his rejection of the world government's plans for Elbaf, as now we're seeing Emu has declared Dori and Bragi as the new kings, transforming them into monstrous versions with a greater size, horns, and power, almost like the ancient giants that came before them, followed by even more giants turning demonic. This again may be the reason why Loki had to end his father's life at Harald's request to stop the Celestials' plans, choosing to protect his people's future extra of peace with humanity. But that's just my thoughts. Drop your own in the comments. Thank you for watching and follow for more.